Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about parenting. Are we parenting out of fear or are we parenting out of hope? And I know for many of you watching this, you may not even be parents, but actually this is not about parenting your children. It's more about parenting people in the kingdom. And it's more about leadership. So if you're in any form of leadership, this is really going to help you. I believe that we can learn so much from the natural. And so when we parent in the natural, if you're a mom and a dad, you know that when you have a baby, the very first thing that you need to do for that baby is feed it and protect it. That's your primary thing. You feed and protect that little baby. But as that baby gets older, your primary goal is to believe in that child and release that child. And if you get stuck in that protecting and feeding forever, your child is going to grow up and want to run away, right? They're going to want to run away because no kid wants to live in that environment. Everybody wants to grow up and be great. Everybody wants to grow up and be released and have wings. And so if we're so busy clipping their wings because we're so afraid and we're still trying to protect them as if they were a newborn baby, they're going to run away. And you know, sometimes this is even worse in Christian homes, which is really, really sad. But oftentimes as Christians, we're so afraid of what the devil's doing. We're so afraid of what's out there that we continue to clip wings. We continue to protect them too much instead of believing in them and releasing them. And so this is actually not about parenting. I'm about to shift now to leadership in the church because, you know, you can apply this to any form of leadership as well. But I want to speak specifically to leading the church. And because I believe that's such a high calling. Every calling's high. I love all the influences, the mountains of influences and everything that God does through all of us. But I really feel like this is a word for you guys, for those of you who minister in the church in any way. You are mothers and fathers in the church and in the kingdom. And so your primary goal is to believe in what God is doing in the people's lives and to work from a motivation and to live and lead from a motivation of believing in what God has done in people's lives, not in believing in what the devil can do in people's lives. Because oftentimes when we lead in the church, we lead out of fear. We're so afraid of what's out there that we just continually speak to the possibility of sin continually. And you know, I'm not saying that we shouldn't create boundaries and that those boundaries are all good and holiness is amazing. But the motivation of our heart has always got to be the motivation of expectation and hope of what Jesus has done in people's lives. When God recreates a person, he recreates a person and he creates them new again. And he gives them a hope and a future and a calling and a destiny. And we have to believe in those things. We have to minister from that place of believing in and having an expectation for a person's life and believing that that person is going to fly and can fly. Because if we're so focused on trying to protect that person from what's out there, we're going to hamper their growth and we're going to stop them from really pushing out there and becoming who they should become. You know, I often think to myself, why is it that the church is not at the forefront of creating new things, new ideas, inventions in every realm of society? Why isn't that the people of God, the people who have the creativity of heaven, are not out there being the ones on the forefront in every realm of influence, creating and doing new things with new ideas? I think one of the reasons is because we have become so fear-focused, so focused on what could go wrong because of the devil, or what somebody could fall into, or what we could fall into, or how we could fail, that we don't release ourselves and release other people to push into new realms, to fly, to become the people that have never been seen on the earth yet because they're a completely new generation. And so we're so afraid that we don't allow ourselves to go there and we don't allow our children to go there. And so I just want to encourage you, if you're a leader today, whether you're a parent or whether you're a youth pastor or an itinerant minister, whether you're a worship leader, whoever you are, even if you don't have a title, actually I believe everyone in the kingdom is a leader. So whoever you are, just take the mantle on yourself as mother and father and realize that your goal is to lead from a place of believing in the hope of what Jesus can do, not in believing in what sin can do. We know what sin can do, but we know that we are believers because God is so much bigger than sin, and he totally overcame sin, and he overcame death, and he recreated human beings. And so we live because we believe in what God does and his power. We are believers because we believe in the power of God, not because we believe in the power of sin. And yes, sin is powerful if we empower it, but we don't want to empower it. We want to empower what God does. We want to empower what God dreams, what God believes. We want to align ourselves with who God is on the earth today. We want to lead an army of people that are going to be the generation that breaks into something that no one on the earth has ever seen before, because we are believing for the greatest thing to happen. We are not there just trying to pacify people and to keep them out of sin. Listen, I know that as we step into new places, we will fail. Doesn't mean we're going to sin. If we do sin, God will forgive us. But I'm not telling you to teach people to sin or to make as if sin's not a bad thing. I'm not telling you not to create boundaries. But what I'm saying is that we are looking for something so much greater than an avoidance ministry. We're looking for a ministry, each one of us, where we can propel this generation into the greatest thing that they've ever seen. God believes in that. We have to step into that and believe that too. I know this is a long message. This is really not a 5-minute message, but God bless you. May you be leaders that are mothers, true mothers and fathers that know how to release your children. See ya. Bye.